This is Never Gallimore from the Dallas Cowboys, and I want to give a major shout out to Mike Tag. Keep bringing the hype to the Cowboys Nation. We love and appreciate it. Now, can you dig it? Let's get it.
What's up, Cowboys Nation?
What is up, man? It's Monday. You know that what that means. I mean, we're in the cave with Mike Tag and Jimmy Dee going to get this thing started. And Jimmy, I got to apologize. I got a little sidetracked. Because Wednesday we've got a special guest coming in, former Dallas Cowboy. I think he still holds a record for most tackles in the season with 222. All Pro in 1989. We're talking about Eugene Lockhart. And let me just tell you, I'm just gonna tease it. You don't want to miss this one because this man, he ain't holding back nothing. And I was on the phone with him for an hour, so he's got a lot to say, not only about the Cowboys, about the NFL and what he's up to. But I promise you guys, if you're listening to this show, do not miss Wednesday. I swear to God, if you believe anything I say, I'm begging you. It may be our last show, may not be back again, but you do not want to miss it. I promise you don't miss it.
No, I tell you, we've always talked about this. Mike and I rarely talk before. We're usually on a minute or two, and then we're on the air. We talk for a couple minutes, and yeah, it sounds like it's going to be very interesting and lots of fun.
I don't know if I'm going to get a word in edgewise, but we're going to see what happens. No, but I'm telling you guys, do not miss it. Begging you, don't miss it. So, but anyway, let's see in the chat, man. We got look at my 505 members there.
Oh.
He made an appearance. You know, Ultra's in there with his usual crack on my heat. So we
right
got
off the top.
We got our boy Fred Cuts by Jones. Give him a plug, man. Always, you guys need that. You need some cuts, man. He's the baddest at it. So does beautiful work. And also after this, I got another cameo. Been doing a Father's Day special. So I got a few Father's Day cameos I'm getting ready to do after the show. So we got some busy stuff, busy times in the cave, Jimmy.
You give them the promo code, and that's all they need to know. Now, just a follow up to last week, and we're not going to go off. This ain't going to be a medical show, but last Monday night we let off, and I was all nervous about the next day. So colonoscopy day, I take the meds. I'm on the toilet like Dumb and Dumber, shit in my pants all day. Get there, they put me under. Easy. I'm good for 10 years. You know what? Because I'm a finely tuned athletic machine.
Well, and we had some people asking, making sure. We had a couple comments.
Thank you.
Sure everything's all right, man. We got to be worried about Jimmy Dee. We got to make sure he's all right. He's an important member of the show, of the community that we've developed and we've built, this empire that's coming in that may come crumbling down Wednesday after the Eugene Lockhart interview. So don't miss it because you don't want to. But yeah, man, I'm just telling you, it's going to be fun. But let's talk about it because I know Ultra's already, let's just jump right in. Ultra's already talking noise. And hey, man, you hate to say, the Miami Heat were up against it. I mean, Denver clearly, and I'll lean on you, Jimmy, because you're the basketball expert of the two of us. It's just from my sights, like I talk about with the Knicks, it just seemed like Miami was the better team. I mean, it's clearly Denver's the better team, and I think Miami's going to get, unfortunately, put out of their misery tonight.
Yeah, you know what it is. I mean, they had him. Miami had them the other night. Think about it. Jamal Murray, his field goal percentage was awful the other night. Jokic was out most of the fourth quarter. They're at home. You're thinking they're going to take it. But then, between Gordon had a great game, made up for Jamal Murray, and then Brown down the stretch for Denver was just sick. I mean, that one reverse layup he made was something else. So that's when they had him. With Jokic out and Jamal Murray not shooting that well, that was it. And if they would have just, took over there, home crowd, got them going, then you have a completely different ball game.
Yeah.
Losing,
obviously getting swept at home. And hey, just real quick, just because I know Steven's been trying, Fred, if you're on, Steven's not on social media. So I think he said he put his email in the comment. he definitely wants to reach out to you, and I think he wants a cut, man. He sees how great these cuts are. Hey, I gotta join the party. So Fred, if you see that, man, just make sure you give him a holler. He's a good dude, and hopefully get him taken care of. But no, with the Heat, God, it's just I don't know, man. It's just such a mismatch for them. And I thought they could steal. You hate to say steal at home, but I thought they were going to kind of sneak that one. And I think game 4, and it got a little close, and then it just they could never get it to where they can really get the whole crowd into it, and they just kept pulling away. And then when Jokic had that injury, like you said, you think that you'd be able to get some stuff going there, still couldn't. Even when he was out, I think they only trimmed it down by 1 point when he was out, later with some foul trouble. And it's just it sucks, man, because I love Butler, man. I'd love to see him get a title, but it just doesn't seem like it's meant to be for him this year. That's for sure.
And Butler took care of his business the other night. I mean, he looked tired, but he still dropped 27.
Yeah.
I mean, so he played well the other night. It's just everybody else. First of all, everybody thought Tyler Herro might be back. I don't think that's even happening tonight.
Why not? I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's not ready, but it's like he said he didn't want to mess the chemistry up. That's what I heard. But it's like, dude, we ain't got that time. I mean, you got to put out all the stops right now.
No, and that's the thing, and that's what I mentioned that last week. Would it kill the chemistry? But right now, you got no choice.
Yeah. I mean, they're it's like I felt bad. I gave Mark a lot of trouble. Throw the towel. I was playing him the Apollo trainer. It's like, man, I'm almost thinking they should do it now. But you just gotta, it's just like anything, man. You just gotta. It's one game at a time now. I mean, it's just one and survive. But I just don't see it happen. I just don't see it happening. And I tell you, I was surprised that they didn't get another player out there on there that they could have picked up. Sorry,
I just saw a comment. Well, you know what? We had one friend who was at the game the other night. First of all, this kid was at the NBA Finals one night.
Yeah.
And then the NHL Stanley Cup the next night. He lost, so we thought he was a jinx. Then the Panthers came back and won the following night. But think about it too. They never call traveling in the NBA. I mean, guys taking 3-4 steps. It's not even called. I was joking with somebody that night that they should just remove it from the rule book, right? So all of a sudden, Duncan Robinson drives the lane for the Heat, and they call him on a travel.
But they've called a lot of traveling, I think, in this series, haven't they?
Nah, I mean, when you look at the amount of steps people are taking, they should be calling them.
Yeah.
But no, you don't call it. Guys are taking 3 steps, 4 steps. It's the LeBron rule. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. It's it's just God. You hate it. I just wish. And the finals. I mean, the playoffs, and I think maybe the NHL, maybe you'll agree. I'm going to lean on you as we jump onto the Vegas side, but it just seems like the playoffs all throughout until the finals were like phenomenal. I mean, you look at the Miami up 3-0, then Boston comes back. You had game 7, then you had all the other games that were going on. It was just really, some good basketball, a lot of fun. And the finals kind of, at least in NBA. I mean, what do you see? And I haven't really watched much NHL, so I'm going to have to lean on you. But I know you picked the Panthers. You picked the Panthers in 6. They're on the brink of kind of being finished off. You writing them off, or you think they got a shot, or what do you think?
No, you know what it is. Kachuk's hurt. The guy who I've said over and over is the MVP of sports right now. He got hurt in game 2. He got blown up, and he came back and played. And he only played 16 minutes the other night. They lost 3-2. And that's the problem when you have the best player on the team. I mean, other guys got to step up, and they did. They only lost 3. They were down 3-0, the Panthers at one point. Barkov scored, and I think Verhage scored. But and then some freaking no-name from Vegas scored 2 goals. But when you have your best guy out like that, the guy who's been the heart and soul of the team, that's a problem. They don't even know his status for tomorrow night. But in my opinion, the Panthers have also run into a hot goaltender, this Aiden Hill kid for Vegas. Yeah. But the one thing with him, he's a hothead. He's twice in the Stanley Cup Finals been involved in fights, right? So he was throwing down at the end of the game the other night. He's beating the hell out of somebody who was a blocker pad. And, so my thought is this. You're down 3-1. So harass them, right? What's the worst? You can take penalties. Who cares? You're going to take their defenseman down with you. And then maybe you just get the guy to snap. That's all you're looking for at this point in time. Harass the goalie.
Yeah.
That's all. I mean, and the NBA, NHL, they're probably pissed right now. You
Oh
don't
yeah.
want these things ending in 5 games,
No, you got all
right?
about that money, man. That revenue, the TV money, the extra, the gate, everything. Now the TV money's guaranteed, so there's really not. I mean, the networks are more pissed off than the NHL. Would you say?
Well, I mean, then I should say the networks, right? The
Yeah,
the leagues are getting paid
yeah.
anyway.
The leagues get paid
And
regardless.
and Troy, I originally said Florida in 6, and I moved it to 7. Maybe you're right. Maybe they have it in them. I mean, it all depends again, in my opinion, on Kachuk, number one, and number two. Does this Hill kid, the goalie for Vegas, stay hot?
Yeah,
Or again, can they get to him up here? Because the guy's obviously got issues. He's a hothead. So that's
yeah.
what you need to do. You need to goad him into something.
Yeah, I was doing a little. Sorry, I didn't mean to distract you. I was doing a little thing. I don't know what it is, but when I watch our show back,
Yeah,
the screen, the background looks purple, but it looks blue to me right now.
yeah, it does.
And so I don't know if you're watching, is that blue or purple? Because it's just weird. I'm telling you, sometimes I watch a replay, it is. And Steven, you got to understand, Saturday. I didn't even get to it yet. Saturday, I went out with my wife and we met some good friends. I mean, great friends, not even good friends. And we met up, downtown, like it's Dunedin, downtown Dunedin. I don't know if you remember that area.
Yeah.
And said we'll meet at like 1:30. So we went for 1:30. We're gonna go grab a couple drinks and just grab some late lunch or something like that, and just catch up. Man, we went walking around doing whatever. Next thing you know, I looked at our clock. It was 10:30 at night. Now, understand, I know that ain't late for some young people, but we're drinking from 1:30 to 10:30. I mean, it's nonstop. You drink. That's a long. I mean, that's a long day. And then obviously the Heat game before, we drank a little bit before we went out there. So your boy Mike Tag was in recovery on Sunday. I laid in the pool. I didn't get out. And that's just like, man, I gotta hydrate and a lot of water. And so, but I'll text you. I'm going to tell you this, man, and anyone who's in this area, they know Jimmy's been he's been stopping by, and we got someone in our comments that's there too. I'm in the same spot on Friday night. I'm in the same. You'll see me on the patio having some drinks with friends, and that's what I do. It's the 505 Club, and that's what we do. So, Steven, I'll let you know where that place is, and I mean, you're welcome to swing by, man. I'd love to meet you and say hello, maybe talk some Cowboys. So,
And it is a fun time. I mean, last time I was down there, we started, it was fun, and we evolved, went to someplace else. I think you guys carried me out by the end of the night. I really don't remember, but it's a good time.
and they said it's purple. I'm gonna go to that then. Is that blue? Yeah. Sorry. See, this is what we need our audience for, man. You got to help us out. But I don't know what the hell's going on. So,
Hey,
and I said, someone saw my pool. The pool party happened when the Cowboys win the Super Bowl. It's carte blanche. Now I'm probably gonna regret what I'm saying. It's carte blanche. We're gonna have a big party. And we're gonna have a celebration. And
from Mike Tag, it's going to be
all
all
the neighborhood,
all the drinks, all the champagne. Anything you want is going to be on Mike Tag. Poolside.
Yeah. All right. We got it blue now. The other one is blue. It's just so weird that it does that. So now we got a little blue. Maybe it's cowboy blue. This is So this will look a little better. I was trying to be neutral for Jimmy. I had the Nick. That I thought that was New York Nick blue I put on there. But I guess I tried to help you, Jimmy. I'm sorry.
I appreciate that. I appreciate the love. So that's it. I mean, for the NBA and NHL, we know where we stand. It really stinks for South Florida because think about it. A few months ago, and I don't know nothing about college basketball. I just know that UM and FAU were both made it deep into the college, and they didn't win. And at this rate, I don't know about the Panthers or Heat. I hope I'm wrong.
Wow. Well, and I hope you are wrong, but I'm also wrong. I hope one of our loyal followers is wrong. He said, "Why did Jimmy laugh when I said the Cowboys win the Super Bowl? Are you still sad about the 28-3? Are you trying to bring us down? What's going on here,
why do you got to come after me? I wasn't laughing at him. I was laughing at him talking about throwing a party and stuff. Why do you got to attack me for? I'm a friend of Cowboys Nation.
What I do to him?
Me? Right, exactly. What I do to Falcon 00? Give me a break.
Jimmy. Jimmy, are you going to ban him? Is Jimmy going to do the ban? Are we?
No, I thought they would have banned people around here.
All right, we got Our man Kelly banned someone. We did not ban anyone, but Kelly is the one that can. He's the only one who has the power to take the ban off. Because if you got
he's judge, jury, and executioner. Is what Kelly K9 is.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you, Troy. And Troy, I think you're asking me before about the Yankees. we're going to talk baseball
No,
maybe a
we
little
can
bit.
get into we can get into it.
Oh, God.
This is what we talk about. This is when you're going to find out who the contenders are and the pretenders are when it comes to doing these live podcasts and live shows, because there's not a ton to talk about with the Cowboys, not a ton to talk about with football. So, we talk about basketball. We're going to talk a little bit about, we talked about hockey, maybe mixing some baseball. I got a wrestling story that I was going to share. We'll get to that, and then we're going to talk a little football. But go ahead, Jimmy. What's
Oh,
up with
man.
the Yankees? They fall
So
apart on us?
we had the White Sox and the Red Sox. Last week I was carrying on. I'm like, yeah, we went from 11 and a half out to 5.5 hour taking care of our business. And then we don't play well against the lowly White Sox. And we shit the bed against the Red Sox. Garrett Cole had a great outing Friday. Schmidt had a great outing last night. And we just sucked. And now we're 9.5 back again. Just like that.
Well, you know what makes me feel good? Not about that, Jimmy, because you're a fan of the Yankees. My older brother's a fan of the Yankees. If the Yankees can win the World Series, I'm happy. No problem with it at all. But I got some guy that was on my page talking crap about me because I was supposed about the Cowboys, making fun of my team. And then I made fun of his team. And he said, "What do you do? Look at the Yankees. We're rolling." This must have been during they won a few games.
Yeah.
And now I'm gonna go find it. I'm gonna be like those Twitter people that go back like 5 years to find that tweet where you said you love Dak Prescott, and then they find out you said something negative about him. So then they're saying you're a hypocrite or da da da. So I'm gonna find him and just remind him. I'm gonna just ask him to check the standings. And he was defending the Yankees as being good when they're in third place. And I said, is that what it's come to for the New York Yankees? As a fan, you're satisfied with them being in third place? Is that, make him feel good?
No, that's what Hal Steinbrenner said last month. What was about 3-4 weeks ago when he got out in public and said, "Well, if the Yankees don't win the World Series, that does not mean it's a failure of the season." I'm like, that his old man is rolling in his grave right now. And to Ultra's point, Boone and Cashman, you know what? I scratch my head anymore. But then when you got Steinbrenner saying the same thing, like that he doesn't, it's not a failed season if we don't win the World Series, that's a problem. Yeah. George would have never had that. They would have been fired if somebody said that, right? It wouldn't have been allowed.
And there's some great George Steinbrenner stories. I'll give another shameless plug. You ain't heard nothing yet till you tune in on Wednesday.
Yeah, right. Yes.
I'm still in shock, man. I'm still in shock. I was like, yeah. So
I can't wait.
It's gonna be. We're gonna have a lot of fun on Wednesday with Eugene Lockhart. There's no doubt about it. So Jimmy going to the Dallas Jets game. Jimmy, is he going to? No, I don't think Jimmy's going to the Dallas.
No, not that I know of.
No.
When is that? Oh, it's your birthday.
That's
right?
early. I think you got hockey or you got anything going on.
Well, the problem is running the kids around. That's your birthday, right?
No, my birthday we go to San Francisco.
That's what it was. The Niners. That's right.
We're gonna have to prepare for a Jimmy game. Now the thing that I did, I've put it out on to the masses. I'm saying, hey, I need a place to store some tailgate equipment. I need a tent. I need some chairs. I need some some things you cheer with, right? We need some of that stuff, right? Need to have some fun. Maybe I get a little grill, one of those little portable grills or something. So I need a place to store some stuff because I'm going, Jimmy. I don't know if you know it. Now I'm going to 5 home games. I might as well move there. I just broke the news. The friends that I went out with on Saturday, because you get your boy. We all had a little alcohol in us. And I said, hey, you're a Patriots fan. Well, let's go to the game. So I went ahead and I know some people. So I made a trade like we did when you went. I made a trade for my 2 tickets for 4 tickets. So now the 4 of us are going to go to the Cowboys-Patriots game. So it's another excuse, another reason for me to get down to AT&T and hang out with Cowboys Nation. I'm loving that. So now I'm like, I've got to get a tailgate. I got to have some tailgate stuff. So I got a place to, I can always go to Lot 10 and that's fun. Don't get me wrong. I love doing it. But, sometimes you got to, you're there like all day. You got to have some place to sit, you got to have your own spot, your own, got to mark your territory a little bit,
No, you know what it is. You got one of 2 things. You need a family to adopt you in Dallas, so you can stay there and hang out there and store stuff there, or just get like a storage unit, keep all your stuff there. Yeah. I think that's a great idea.
Well, I'm looking for free storage.
Oh, well,
I'm looking for someone to say, hey, you got a spot in my garage. I will drive it to the stadium. I have a parking pass, not me, but this person has a parking pass. I'm going to supply the stuff. I need you to supply the parking pass and the vehicle, and I'll bring the entertainment because we'll be throwing a party down. We're gonna have a good time. That's got to be worth something.
You know what? I think you're right. It's like a bartering situation, right? Throwing a free cameo too while you're at it. Come on.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And they should. You're Mike Tag.
I know. Now Troy, he's bringing his stuff from Iowa. I mean,
Damn.
I fly. I gotta fly. I can't drive. I'm not driving from Tampa to Dallas. That's a 24-hour drive. Your boy's got to get in the Lear jet. You know what I'm talking about. You got to go in style if we're gonna go. No, I'm just kidding. I gotta, I can't drive it. So I'm looking for a donation of some space at someone's house in preferably close to Arlington. I don't want to drive to Houston to pick this stuff up. That wouldn't be good.
How far of a drive is it from your place to Irvin?
Well, I'll give the story. That way we could put it in context, Jimmy. So when I was working for a company, I was covered the East region, and the guy was too cheap to fly anywhere. So he would have me drive the equipment. We used to sell this piece of equipment that would fit in a Suburban. And he said, hey, there's a trade show in Dallas. There's some stops that you can make along the way and just, bring the equipment to the trade show, do the show, and then leave. And I said, well, I'm not doing that. I said, I'll go if you supply me with tickets to the Cowboys game. So they got with one of the reps that they worked with. She got me 2 tickets to the Cowboys Redskins game. And I remember the game. See if anyone has a good memory. It was a game when Deion Sanders, playing with the Cowboys, was returning a punt or something. Did something happen? I think it was a punt return. He got laid out, and he was out for some of the game and then came back and made a huge play. I don't know if it was an interception or a punt return for a touchdown. He did something big after coming back from an injury, but it was whatever that game was. So I went to the game. I worked that week, and I'm like, I want to go home to watch the Cowboys. So my last day was the end of day Friday. So it was the end of day Friday. I'm going to drive home. Didn't stop. Went straight home, 24 hours. Straight home. Because I wanted to watch the Cowboys play. So basically, you drove Friday night all day Saturday. You got home like Saturday night, into the early morning Sunday just to watch the game. And they're playing the Colts. So we got to go look at the schedules. Yeah. Washington, then it's Colts. Fell asleep, missed the whole damn game. Woke up the next
day. And you were young. What the hell? 24 hours drive?
Yeah. It had to have been nine. Like if it was a season, I'd have to look it up. It was a season either 98, 99. It was right in there. It had to have been that year in there. And then the Cowboys, I think they played like 12 o'clock game or something. But yeah, so I am looking for a volunteer for space, garage space. I got 5 home games. I want to tailgate. All I need you to do is supply a garage space, a vehicle to get to the game with my stuff, and a parking pass that is in a tailgating area. So if you guys can do that, my number, hit me up, and let's see if we can work out a deal, and I'll start sending, you'll be getting Amazon packages in a week.
And you know what? I'm sure you'll be getting them a round of beers.
Oh, of course.
Right?
I mean, we got to put the food. I mean, we have a whole thing. Because I love tailgate. I mean, to me, that is that's the best. To me, it's the best. No space. What is it? Renting garages for border crosses. Oh Lord. There you go. Oh, we got our first one. Mark said he's got a garage. So Mark, you need to hit me up if you're serious. Now you got the garage, but do you have the parking pass with a spot where you could tailgate? Because Dallas is weird. Like AT&T, you were there with me. You can't. You can only tailgate on the edges, so you can't tailgate in the middle. So you've got to tailgate. So if Mark, he's saying it's free. So now him and I are negotiating. He didn't give me any room to negotiate. But I got the flags. I already pulled all my stuff out. I got my Cowboy flags. I got the tent. I got the chairs. I got all that stuff. So we're gonna have some fun.
You know what? You know what sounds like a fun time. You go out, you throw a few drinks back, and then hopefully things go well for you. Wait a minute. What 5 games you're going to?
Well, first, Mark says he parks free. So do you park where you could tailgate? That's the key. That is the one. That's the hard part. You got to have a spot where we could tailgate. The 5 games are going to the Jets, Patriots, Giants, Eagles, and then I added the Seahawks Thursday night.
Okay.
Thursday night.
You got the thumbs up for all those. Good for you, man.
Yeah,
I love it. That's good. Yeah.
So it's gonna be a lot of fun. Oh, disabled vet. Oh, you're a veteran. He's a veteran too. That's right. So now you're gonna make me feel bad. I can't.
Thank you for your service.
Veteran.
First of all,
Thank
most
you.
importantly.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So, but yeah, if you don't park in a tailgate spot, then I'll find a lot that we can tailgate in. Lot 10 is a great spot, but I think there's lot 4, which is right by Texas Live. There's lot 10. I don't know the other lots what other lots allow tailgating, but I know you got to be like, I think Troy said, you got to be on the edges of the grass, I guess, for whatever reason. They want you in the Miller Lite Club. Right.
Now, that's what I was going to say. I've only been the games I've been to have been early games. So how does that work? Do you go out and tailgate and then migrate to the Miller Lite Club? Because we just went to Miller Lite Club.
No, but I think when you went, worst time, which I mean, we kind of went because of a friend was a Bears fan, so we took one for the team.
Yeah.
But ideally, the games you want to go to, if you're a Cowboys or really any NFL fan, you want to go to the night games. That's the primo one, obviously. The 3:30, 4:30 our time, but 3:30 Dallas time. That's the ones you want to go to.
It's perfect.
12:00 games. I mean, they're good if you want to, like, if you're traveling. Like for me, I could probably I know Dustin and Doug do it. They'll fly in that morning on a 12:00 game. They'll fly in and land at like 9 or 10 o'clock or 8 o'clock, whatever it is. They'll go to the game and fly out that day.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
But I've been tempted to do it, but it's like, man, I don't know.
I'd be afraid of getting through security. That would be my problem. I don't think they'd let me through. Maybe too much out. See, Monday, I don't know, Troy. But the thing is, those are night games or work night. Unless I got off the next day.
But you got to remember though, I'm traveling, and I would take the next day off anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
But it is, the night games are awesome.
Well, that's when you start. See, you take me. I start tailgating at 1 o'clock. By the time the game rolls around, I don't know what day it is. So that I'm going to the Jets in Dallas.
Yeah, that's my birthday. Bud and I, Sarah, we share the same birthday, October 8th. Great day.
Gotta go to San Francisco.
Yes, that's going to be good. I would love, like, if I'm you, if I'm Bud, and I had my choice, maybe you live out west, or maybe you're just going to travel to one of those stadiums. I'm going to LA. That stadium, I mean, Jimmy, that stadium looks great, doesn't it?
LA, yeah. I tell you what, man. What was a great set? The Raiders, Vegas.
Raiders.
That's a hell of a stadium, man.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Allegiant. Yeah.
That would be the other one that when Dallas plays there's no doubt I'm going to that one. There's no doubt.
No, you don't want to miss that one.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm not even a big Vegas person. I know one time I was in Vegas for a show that we were doing, and to me, you're there 3 days, and that's more than enough.
Yeah.
Right. I don't gamble. I bet the horses, and Uncle Cheech tries to deter me from betting the harness racing. But
I know. I'm disappointed with Uncle Cheech. He's on a hiatus. He's like, he's gambling. He's doing all this crazy stuff. And he's like, he can't live without football. So he goes through a weird time. And that's why I warned, Jimmy and I, we talked about it, and we warned each other. It's like, this is what worries us with Uncle Cheech. He's not as reliable when heavy gambling, as he would say, is involved. If it's baseball, he can't really gamble baseball. He can't really gamble hockey. Basketball, he won't gamble that. It's everything for him is pro sports. I mean, I talked to him yesterday. I say, hey, he goes, I'll handicap the USFL or something. You want me to do? I said, well, we don't know nothing about that. So, that's where he's come to. He's betting on the USFL and these other games.
See, I wanted to hear his thoughts on that John Gotti III versus Floyd Mayweather.
I think he bet on that. You know what's funny with that? I thought that was an old video. I didn't know Mayweather's doing like exhibition.
Yeah.
The guy was pissed off. They started fighting. What happened?
So, I mean, what happened? It was a circus. I mean, at the very end, it turned into a total chaos zoo. It was worse than the Panthers Vegas game from Saturday night at the end of the game. So, it was what you expected. I mean, Gotti didn't even throw a lot of offense out.
Was it orchestrated, though? Do you think that was their plan? Because even like when Gotti was going after him, it didn't look like there was, I mean, You know, when you're going to fight someone, if you're going to keep it real, you're going to fight someone. You're not going to go the way like they were. It almost
Well,
looked like they were playing, orchestrated.
well, a lot of people were calling out Mayweather after the fight, kind of like they're calling out Apollo Creed after Rocky won, after their first fight. And they said it was a show and a joke and all this other crap. I don't know what to think of it. I mean, again, Gotti, he just didn't have a lot of offense, and
Yeah.
then it ended weird. The ref just called it, I guess.
No, he called it on one punch. It wasn't even hurt or anything. It was just like this one punch, and you saw the ref's face. Like, I mean, it just looked
Yeah.
like it was just WWE style.
Well, no, that's professional. Right. This was an exhibition match. But the thing too is that so all hell breaks loose. And I guess some reality star person jumped into the fight afterwards. So yeah, it was a total chaos zoo. But hey, people paid for it.
Yeah.
I watched it for free. I don't care.
Well, and the funny thing is this leads me to a little bit of wrestling. And we'll
Ultra, yes.
we're as you can see, man, we're just kicking it, man. So whatever, if we say something that interests you, you want to join the party, man, just chime in. But so I was watching last night. My wife was watching her shows, getting all that.
Yeah.
So I was putzing around on YouTube and I saw this Hulk Hogan interview. So Hulk Hogan lives in Clearwater. He does karaoke on Monday nights. You can go see him. I mean, he bangs the gong like if you suck or something like that. But you could go there. You can't. He won't. Obviously, no autograph picture. I mean, because there's people. But you could just. I mean, he's very outgoing and he'll shoot the shit with you and whatever. But so he went on this interview, and I tried to find the podcast. So these kids are on this podcast. I don't know who they are, so I'm probably maybe too old. But they were showing off some drinks. So maybe they're like the owners of the drinks. I want to say maybe like Celsius or one of those drinks that are kind of trending.
Yeah.
And, I looked and they had over 2 million subscribers. So I mean, they're big time, whoever they are. But they're two dorks. I mean, they're just like no personality. I'm watching them do this interview, and it's painful because you got Hulk Hogan there, like this icon, and they're asking him kind of like the stupidest questions, like the most obvious questions,
Yeah.
and not really like getting into it. And they knew nothing. Like he was talking about stuff, and even he was like getting there. Where finally he's like, "Man, I thought you guys, I'm coming on. I thought you guys would have done a little research." You know what I mean? Like he was joking, and they're like, "Oh no, we know WrestleMania 3 because he was talking about WrestleMania 3 with that was the Giant, right?
Yeah. Yep.
He's talking about that, and they was telling the story, and it was like it could have been such I mean, it was like basically on a couch. So they rented this house in Clearwater. I'm thinking they rented it and he just came there and they sat in the house and they would they just started just like it was just shooting the shit, man. It was just like me and you sitting with Hulk. Now, if me and you were interviewing him, the stories, I mean, we would have had him. I mean, we would have had all the stories. We know it. I mean, we don't even need to do research. I was so like, God, man, these guys, it sucked. It sucked. It could have been so good. It could have been such because you get these guys. That's what I say is when you talk to former players or older guys that been there, done that, they're at the point of their life, man. They don't give a shit. They're gonna tell you how they feel. And they're not gonna hold no punches, And he talked about like Savage, how him and Savage had some beef because Savage thought he was one of the reasons for their divorce, with Elizabeth and this and that and some other stuff. But it could have been so good. I was so pissed.
And can you imagine if it was you and me with him? We'd probably tell him some of our stories from going to wrestling and stuff.
Yeah.
Right? But yeah, that's Troy, you mentioned about MJF and Adam Cole. The only thing is there was great last week. I didn't expect it. It was a great when they are going back and forth in the ring. The only thing I don't like, why aren't they building this up? Right? They just had it out last week on Dynamite. This should build up for 3 weeks, and maybe have a run in, maybe Cole's wrestling whomever and have a run in or what have you. So the fact that they're wrestling a week later, that's the only thing that's bothering me. And that's the problem with wrestling nowadays, is that they don't have a build up like in the old days. And you don't have a swerve like the old days, and that's what they needed to do on this.
They don't have the good storylines in a lot of that stuff. But I saw this thing Ultra always, he has something to say, and some of it's funny, some of it just depends. But this is funny. This is only funny because when I post this, Jimmy knows exactly where I'm going. So
Yeah.
there's a story when you talk about Thunder Lips. We used to do prank calls, and I wish we had it, and I should have had it ready. But we did the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were trying to get funding for their the stadium, which
Yep.
was James. They were at the old Sombrero. And so they used to all hold these different, events, rallies, whatever you want to call them, to get public interest because you had it was a penny for Pinellas or whatever it was, and then
Yeah.
was going to pay a penny, and it was all going to go to the stadium. So we did this prank call, and Jimmy, if you want, you can kind of share your thoughts on it. But we did this. Jimmy did this prank call where we used to play audio, and then you could finish the story.
So we call in, and we had the recording or the tape, right? It was a tape player. That's how long ago it was, right?
Yeah.
So we had we call in and we're next in line. The best part was we had a buddy of our, well, actually one of Mike's brother. He would we got so good at this that we make him call in for us. And
He was our board op.
He was our board op. So we call in, and the first thing we play, the host picks up, and all of a sudden you hear, "To all my love slaves out there, Thunder Lips is here." And the host says, "Oh, that's a Tony Dungy here in the background. They're at the rally."
That must be Tony Dungy down at the rally, and that he played linebacker for Scott Brantley. Played linebacker for the Bucs. Old country, had the country accent, so they tried to play it off as it was Tony Dungy. But all the funniest part for Jimmy and I is the people listening that said, "Did Tony Dungy just called himself Thunder Lips?"
And I'm talking about his love slaves out there. Oh man, we had the best was Mike was the first of us to actually make something of his life, right? So he goes up and relocates up to the Tampa Bay area, and we go visit him, and he had work to do and he had calls to make, but we would easily influence him to forget about the work, forget about the call. We got some crank calling to do, right? Yeah. So before you notice, we've been crank calling for 3 hours. It's noon, we got no life. Sit around.
Just
listen to the radio
all day,
24 hours a day. So yeah, that was the best.
Appointments, and an hour later, it's like, all right, let's prank call some people, because that was a good thing with Tampa. And we had Ian Beckles on. Ian Beckles came on just probably after, a little bit after, like we did. We did all our calls because he was there for a long time.
Yes,
and but we used to. It was all local radio from 6 o'clock up all the way through. It was all local radio. So it was so fun that you can just call these shows and you can get in there and stuff. But it was fun.
And a few times we got through to, our board op got us through to national shows, right? Remember, we called Sports Babe. We called a few national people.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah. Sports Babe was a good one.
Yeah, she was a good one. The Sports Babe. Ever look at her face?
Say, snuggle on up to the babe. Every time you call, they say, hey, snuggle on up to the babe. So Jimmy, as soon as she answered, what did you say to her?
So she picks up, I says, first you had to ask for a drink. So I said, I'll have a gin and whatever. And then I says, why don't you snuggle up to my nutsack?
And what do you think about the
Knicks this year?
Yeah. Right? And she goes, oh, what? And then she started laughing. It was too late.
And it was simulcast on TV. So we got to see her reaction live. It was great.
Yeah.
Those were good old days. Right?
Oh, so funny. Let's see the chat. So Mark, so do we have to buy a ticket? That's what I think. Do we got to buy the parking pass? So if we do, what we need to do is you need to DM me and let me get your number. Maybe we'll talk it out. Maybe there's a couple games that we might be able to do it. I'll even spring for the ticket as long as you can get the spot. So I'll vouch for my man Steve. He had his Hulkamania. He was going Hulkamania real wild, and this man is working out. 350. I'm surprised it's not more. He looks like he might have 24-inch pythons or something.
350 pieces. Pounds, baby, pounds. Hey, it's okay. We're talking about the Heat. Now, this kind of brings everything together, right? So we got a potpourri of stuff we're talking about today. What about Conor McGregor legitimately injuring the Heat mascot the other night in the halftime show?
What happened?
So,
no, he knocked him out. Yeah, they had to send him. I thought it was a joke, but
so did I.
It hurt.
what is it? I don't even know the Heat mascot's name. I just know he got his ass knocked out by Conor McGregor, right? So,
Oh, wait a minute. Mark, I'm excited because now he says he parks for free no matter where. So if that's the case, definitely DM me and send me your number, and I will call you. I can either call you after the show or I could call you tomorrow if you're working or whatever. I don't want to cause any problem. But yeah, prank calls and throwing eggs. Those were the things. I could tell you some egg
yeah.
stories living in South Florida. Very bad. Some of the things
Mhm.
we did, you look back and you just kind of wish that that you didn't do. And that was the one thing too, is innovation. And I don't want to say we're the innovators in a lot of this stuff, but I laugh because
Yeah.
when I did my first hype video, my promo, I had a couple people compare me. Every now and then I'll get this comparison to some guy who's like a Jets or Giants content creator. And then there was some other guy that has his beard and he does all this stuff. And my brother, man, we've been doing this shit since 91, 90,
Yeah.
whatever it was. All it was, we didn't have a TV, we didn't have a phone, we didn't have anything recorded on to get it. So what I did, Jimmy been doing that as long as I have it. I mean, you want to talk about Ric Flair? There ain't no one does Rick. I mean, he does Ric Flair so good. I think he's Ric Flair sometimes. So we've been doing this thing forever. That's why I always
Right.
laugh, and that's why I played that old Keyshawn. Remember the Keyshawn when I got him at the mall, and he
Yes.
hung up on me, and I dropped the promo on that. I played that, like I don't know, a few months ago during some downtime because it's just a reminder of. I'm not saying we're the innovators of everything. I don't want to be like Howard Stern and stake claim to
Yeah.
everything, but I'm just saying we were ahead of our time in a lot of ways.
We
Just
were.
generation. We should have been in this. If we were kids in this generation, we'd have 2 million subscribers.
Yeah, we'd be like, all these.
Who's that?
Yeah, right. These guys making millions of dollars.
We'd be boxing. Who's the dude who's
Jake
boxing?
Paul.
One of us would be in the ring.
Jake Paul and Logan Paul's wrestling. Come on, man. Well, the best is I'm sitting here watching. I was flipping through Instagram and I come across a wrestling thing, and I'm watching like it's like one of these 20-second clips. I'm like, wait a minute, that's us in row 2 right there holding signs up. But Steve, no, I don't live in Atlanta. I live about an hour north of New York City. So hence the Knicks and Rangers and Yankees. But I'm a Falcons fan thanks to primetime Deion Sanders because he was a Yankee and he was a Falcon at the same time. And that's when I jumped onto the primetime bandwagon and the Falcons bandwagon, which isn't always a bandwagon, but I'm a fan. I'm a diehard fan, and I don't give up on my team.
Oh, no. And I mean, we've told the story about you being a Falcon. A lot of it, obviously, Deion, you said, and but they've had a hard time. But everything, I mean, if you watch it, we could talk a little football. If you watch it, I mean, they're in a spot where there's some optimism about them giving a shot to win the division. I mean, the division's wide open, and I think what the Falcons have done, obviously, Bijan Robinson, they picked up Calais Campbell. I mean, you got obviously Drake London, and so I mean, you've got the talent. Maybe not a Super Bowl team, whatever, but I think you got to hold out hope. I mean, you wouldn't be a fan if you didn't think you had a shot. But I think the Falcons are a team that quarterback, it's all about on Ritter. It's gonna press on him.
I wish we had a third receiver. I wish we had a third receiver though. Now they're gonna have Patterson, like I said, they're gonna have him all over the place, kind of like a gimmick or utility player. And he's good. I love him, right? And he'll do fine in that role. But I wish we had a solid slot receiver is what I wish we had right now. Right. So, but Desmond Ridder, like I said, he went 4-0 down the stretch last year. And our division is not
forget
good.
that he did well.
Right. Right. And the last game was against Tampa Bay, and Brady played half the. We beat him, right?
Yeah.
He played half the game, and so at the end of the day, I'm optimistic about this season, and I think that the only true contender in our division is the Saints, and I don't know. We'll see what happens there. We took half of their defense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, I was leaving this to see if I get any kind of reaction out of you, but I didn't get a spark.
Well, let me see this. I didn't mind. Deion was a better Cowboy. Oh, here we go again. Look at y'all trained at the. You trained at the power plant, really? Now, see, that's what I want to hear a little bit about. Now, first of all, don't be, Deion Sanders is an Atlanta Falcon. I don't want to hear you 49ers fans. I don't want to hear the Cow. He's an Atlanta Falcon. He came to the league under us. He made his name under us. He didn't win a Super Bowl with us. I'll give you that. but he made his name in Atlanta. He brought that team from nothing and
No,
brought us
he
to
did.
prominence. And remember, man, we had all these stars hanging out, Come on, we had Hammer, we had all these freaking guys hanging outside. Evander Holyfield.
Holyfield, yeah.
Elvis was at the games half the time.
No, it was. His career, I think, is always going to be looked at. But if I'm being a realist, his impact was bigger in Atlanta. There's no doubt about it. I mean, obviously with Dallas, I mean, he was a big part of the Cowboys Super Bowl win. But if you look at it, after that 95, 96, got a little hurt, and 97, those years after, he was good. Don't get me wrong. He's still one of the best cornerbacks ever. But I think the Falcons were his prime. Those prime years where he was unstoppable. And obviously the year in San Francisco, but it was only 1 year. So it brought to me. I got I did a show on Sunday. Just find topics, and Jerry Jones had come out and said, "Hey, we're not having putting anyone in the Ring of Honor." So just got me kind of thinking, who some of these guys that are missing. And I did my top 5, and someone had said Dion should be in, and I just don't see him in the Ring of Honor for the Cowboys. I mean, he was a good Cowboy, and he was a lot of fun. Believe me, it's just like T.O. I hate T.O. I hated Dion, but once he came to the Cowboys, I loved me some Dion. But I don't really look at him as a Ring of Honor kind of player for the franchise.
That's purely that's subjective based on being a Cowboys fan. I mean, again, for us he is, right. He's on our Wall of Fame, but I don't know. I mean, that's up to Cowboys Nation. I can't figure that. I'm really interested, and I'm taking a step. I'm interested. I want to talk at some point with Steve saying he was at the power plant, because that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah. Well, Dion, you got to remember, he's talking about Dion. Yeah, Dion impacted those teams of the Cowboys. He definitely did. But take that, those teams were very good. It's not like, I mean, the Falcons were terrible. I mean, let's just be honest.
They're awful.
I mean, they got the number 4 pick with Dion for a reason. I mean, he made that team. They were competitive. I mean, and I don't want to say he single-handedly did it, but his impact and the way he was in the locker room, he's very underestimated as a teammate. What he did, and the confidence he brought to that team. I mean, I remember those Falcon teams, and I mean, they put it on the Dallas. Some of the Dallas they ended up beating, and so I mean, they were no pushover, and a lot of that is all Dion. So I think when you look at the full picture of Dion, I would have to say with the Falcons, he had the most impact in his career.
And wasn't it was his first season that we actually beat the Cowboys, like the second to last game of the season, or last game of the season.
Yes.
Keep you guys out. Remember, that was Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah.
Saints get ready to play Chicago.
Yeah.
Right. So that was his first season. We ended up 7-9 that season. Then we ended up making the playoffs the following year.
Yeah.
And that was the too legit to quit era.
Oh yeah. And Steve, you're 1,000%. He even said he didn't belong in the Ring of Honor. And he's in the Falcon one, and he said he belonged there. And the Ray Lewis effect.
Okay, now Clarence Beeks was asking what I was drinking.
Yeah.
What are you drinking, Clarence? What are you talking about? Get out of here. The Lewis effect.
Well, no, he wanted to know, what was Jimmy Dee's first drink?
Jimmy Dee's first drink. That's a good one. So
go ahead.
Okay, so now, in fair, I didn't have any booze. I was 19 years old when I had my first drink. 19. So we were playing for a softball team, and we were sponsored by this bar. Right? What
was the name of it?
Botany Bay.
Botany Bay.
Right? So, and we had a couple of ringers on the team. It was a really good team. So anyway, we go to the bar afterwards, and Mike's brother gets.
And mind you, I don't think we're 21 at this point.
No, we're not. I was 19. This was my first drink. Yeah. So they're just serving us. They don't care, because we're rolling in with the Botany Bay shirts on, all nice, and we just won our game. So I'm sitting at the table, and Mike's brother orders a tall boy Long Island iced tea, and he drinks it, and he just smirks, and he said, "Why don't you try this, Jimmy?" So I tasted it, and in retrospect, it was a perfectly mixed Long Island iced tea. You guys know there's 5 liquors in that drink. So I drink one, and now I'm feeling great. I never drank before. Bring me more, right? They had to carry me out of, but that was my first drink, Long Island iced tea. So
and then that was the end of Jimmy. That was the end of Jimmy.
So
because he used to go around like he would never drink. Like we drink, right? You underage or whatever.
Yep.
We drink at parties and stuff because he'd be always like, I don't need a drink. I got a natural high. I don't need none of that stuff. Da, da, da. And boy, when he got a taste of it, he used to go around with a milk jug. It was like a milk jug full of beer. We just pour, and it didn't matter what beer. You could have a Miller Lite in there, then maybe
Yep.
a Old Milwaukee, a Schlitz, hey, whatever we could afford back in the day. I mean, you just
That's right.
yeah. So what was that?
Southpaw Light.
What
Southpaw
was it?
Light. Remember that?
What was it?
Southpaw Light.
Southpaw Light. I mean,
In honor of Rocky.
whatever you could find.
Hey, whatever was the cheapest or whatever people would buy for me.
Yeah.
I remember one night we were over at another mutual friend's house, and he said, "Hey, did you ever hear this thing doing shot a minute? Like a shot a minute? Yeah, man. About 40 minutes later, I was throwing up all over the place, all over his house. Wasn't my house. I didn't care.
Oh man, but I mean that's a fun. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Like with my kids, my kids are, and your kids are same age,
Yeah.
and it's just so different when you watch them, in the way we were. And I'm sure cell phones have a lot to do with. I mean, God, if cell phones were around when we were growing up, I don't, maybe you don't do all the things you do, or maybe would have made it worse. I don't know, but there was a level of I don't know, privacy, but your parent, not everyone knew anything. Now, like on my phone, I know where my kids are at 24 hours a day. I mean, I could just, hit a button. All right, yeah,
Right.
they're over here. I can see where my car's at. I mean, my car's got a GPS. I know if someone steals it, all right, well, it went over there. And someone go get it. And it's just different now. And they don't party. I don't know. Maybe my kids are just different, but it just doesn't seem like it's the way that when we grew up. So.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And I like Mark. I don't drink, so this is boring. We talk about sweet tea. I don't like sweet tea. I like that sugary, crap that they ever did. I like the Arnold Palmer iced tea. But anyway, yeah, it is a different era, and I think that kids are a little heightened. And our kids are athletes. I mean, they play sports, they do things, so I think they're a little more heightened to that, and they're a little more aware. I mean, I'll be honest. In my older days now, except I think the last time I did actual shots was at your place when I was down there a few years ago. I don't do shots anymore. I stick to just straight up. If I'm going to have wine or I'm going to have whatever, a little.
I mean, I'm not a big drinker. I mean, we drink on Friday, have some couple beers. If I'm at home, on a Sunday, maybe. But like when I go to the games, I don't drink. I mean, I'll have stuff at tailgating, but I'll stop like 2 or 3 hours, beforehand. Yeah, I saw that.
I mean,
borderline.
Oh no! Well, there was no swear words in it. We're good. You know what it is? I'll drink, and I'm not bragging. I'm just saying because I don't do shots and I keep it real. And I drink a lot of water. I'll go 8-9 hours straight throwing drinks back. It's just no more shots, no more slamming drinks, none of that crap. That's when things get stupid. I don't need that in my life. You got too much to lose. You got your kids. I need to get.
I mean, it's just it's not worth. But I tell you, it's just the prank call, and that's the part. Like, I mean, this is the part that's the worst. It's like you used to be able to do prank call, and now you can't prank call because everyone's got your number. Now there's ways around, but it takes too much work to do that. And I used to love just calling the Blockbuster or calling up convenience stores, Subway. We used to call
Subway.
Yep. We worked at Publix, and we used to prank call the managers as customers and use like an old lady voice or different voices and complain or it's funny. So it's a good time. Now all right, back to sports.
No, wait, I got one more. One of the more unique, because you said we were kind of innovators. So I remember one time I called up 2 radio stations at once. And I was waiting to see who would put me on the air. So when I did, I reversed it. So now the 2 radio stations are talking to each other.
They're talking to each other. We used to do that with restaurants, and we used to do it all different things. Sometimes have them call each other, but it was funny. It was funny. But yeah, so wrapping it up because we got a few minutes left. So the running back, that's been a hot topic. The running back. So the value of the running back. I mean, it's pretty much gone to no value. Like if I was a kid, I was looking to play, wanted to go to play football, running back might be the last option that I have because it just doesn't seem like they have zero leverage. It looks like you play your contract, your rookie deal, then they'll go ahead and throw you out. So Cooks got cut, looking around where, a team to pick him up. He's not signing for no minimum deal. He wants some money.
He wants $5 million a minimum.
$5 million minimum.
Yeah.
And then you got Barkley, who's pretty much said if he doesn't get a long-term deal, he'll just go ahead and sit out. He'll just sit out the year. You got James Robinson, not a big deal, but he got released. I don't know what happened there with New England. So what is you got Zeke, obviously, he's hasn't found a home, and from what we hear, his price tag is he's still wanting a certain bit of money that he's probably not going to get. I mean, what are these running backs going to do? I mean,
and that's why
they
they
got
got
no leverage.
Dalvin Cook said he wants $5 million minimum, but he'll take a 1-year deal, which I'm kind of shocked at. Because like we said, these running backs, the shelf life isn't there. And like you said, they'll kick him to the curb. No guaranteed contracts in football, except for the front-loaded signing bonus, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, he had I guess Tennessee is the big name that not the big name, but the name that he's talking about. He's talking to them and had a really good meeting with them. I don't know if he's using that as leverage for elsewhere, because originally I heard it was the Jets.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, you have to use leverage. That's all these running backs have. But the problem is, I know I saw that. Running backs, right? You guys will know that when someone's playing, having fun. But at least it's a follower. So, I mean, you can do that kind of stuff. But running backs are so important to the team. I mean,
Yes.
running backs, if you can't run the ball, I don't care how good your pass, you got to be able to run the ball. And it's just, you feel for them because they're so important to the team, but they're so expendable because you can just use them and just dump them to the curb. And it's really something. Again, Wednesday, Eugene Lockhart has something to say about the treatment of some of these former players, and you see what these former players do. Well, no one takes a punishment like a running back takes punishment for the most part. I mean, there's other linemen and things, but a running back, it's a collision.
Yes.
30 times, 20 times, whatever it is they run the ball, it's just constant. And if they're not running the ball, it's pass blocking, it's whatever. I mean, it's constant collisions. So you feel for them, but it's the bad part of the business in football that they've just, the way the offenses are and the way everything is, they've just kind of become expendable, and you just use them up and no loyalty, no nothing. It's straight up business, and you just kind of go.
That's what it is. And Ultra said that about last week when we were talking about wrestling. All this is a business. And like you said with the running backs now, I mean, look at Falcons. We have Algier, we have Bijan Robinson, we have Cordell Patterson, right?
Yeah.
We have 3 guys. So and obviously Patterson, like I said, he's going to step out and do some gimmicks and play, line up in different places. But at the end of the day, yeah, that's why it's a 2-headed running back system for all these teams.
Yeah. Yeah. And Steve, I know you're a boy from the U like me, man. I've been trying to get a hold of Duke Johnson. I know someone who knows him, so I've tried to put the word in. And I tell you, Double Star, can't wait for the hit machine. Don't hold me accountable for anything that's said. That's all I'll say.
And I got news for you. We were talking before. I watch Dynamite every Wednesday night, like clockwork. I might have to watch Dynamite a little bit later, record and watch it after the fact, just for this interview.
It is going to be a show. It's going to be a show. I don't know if it's a PG show, but I can't control that. So I don't know what it's going to be. So if you've got young kids, maybe not have them watch the show, maybe review it first. And then, because I don't know how to put the beeps in. I don't know. I gotta figure out one of these buttons to work on that. But it's going to be a lot of fun. But great guy, absolutely great guy. But he's got a lot of passion. He's got a lot of passion for the community and what he does. But he's got a lot of passion for the way the NFL treated the players. And I just tell you one story he had said. And again, we got to do all our research, but. And this was him, but he set an NFL record for 222 tackles in a season, 174 unassisted. I think the record before that was like 160 tackles in a season. He was a hitting machine. He was a tackle, but he was traded to the New England Patriots after the 89 season, 1990, like in that offseason, and Dallas ended up getting Russell Maryland with the draft, the draft pick that they used. And he had said he was all set to go to Miami, and like he said the coaches and Jerry Jones brought him in and said, no, why don't you stay? And they did whatever, and so he did, and then they traded him, and Jimmy Johnson, the guy Djokovic, who was the AD in Miami when Jimmy was there, was in New England, so they had some sort of connection there, so they traded him, and he ended up, cost him some money and this and that. And that's why he made the famous quote. He goes, the NFL it's a cold business, and it's even colder in New England. And that's and that was the last person said about the Cowboys. And he said he got, so he
Oh,
said he was
God.
compensated, whatever. He'll tell the stories, but I'm telling you, man, it's going to be a great interview. I'm looking forward to it, and we're going to see what happens. But yeah, so back to the running backs. It's tough because you see what these guys are making, and
Yep.
receivers, and you get a top receiver, they're getting 5 catches, 6, 7 catches a game, whatever it is, and they're making 20 plus million. You get these
Yeah.
running backs, they're making a couple million, 5 million if you're good, 10 million if you got caught on a franchise like Pollard's getting his 10 million. And you're making half of that, and you're taking you're getting
Yeah.
5 times the hits that they're getting.
Yeah, but you know what? And you and I have agreed on this for years. The running game sets up the pass. The running, so it's amazing to me, like you said, that these wide receivers are getting paid, triple, quadruple what the running backs are, and taking more punishment.
Yeah.
I don't understand, but again, that's why there's 2 running backs on most teams, 2
Yeah.
starting running backs on most teams.
On most teams. No,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, and Eugene did talk about that because he was on that team, and then that team, he was one of those Cowboys that paid his dues and was supposed to get a chance at that Super Bowl, and they ended up, shortchanging them, so getting traded. So it sucked. But yeah, I think running back, I think they're getting ripped off. That's why, I mean, Jimmy, and I know people hated Zeke, when they signed a contract. I mean, it happened with Tank, and it happened with Zeke. They signed this contract, and if they're not leading the league in rushing anymore like that, he's a bum. He ain't playing his contract. He signed the money and did that. I mean, they have to maximize their earning potential. That's why no one's sitting there asking me how much I make. And I mean, it's no one's business. These guys are paid. And if the teams don't think they're worth it, they'll do exactly what they did, and they cut them. And there's nothing guaranteed to any of these players. So I never get upset. Like it just bothers me when Dak's making this, or Zeke was making that, or this guy. Man, these owners are billionaires. I never understand how fans take the side of the billionaires versus the guys that are laying it on the line every day. It just never makes any sense to me. But this is the only industry at your job. Who does everyone hate? The owners of the company. Oh, they're cheap. They're this, they're that, right? But here, everyone loves the owners of the company, and they hate the people that are delivering all the product and putting their bodies on the line. It's crazy.
I think there might be some different thoughts about that on Wednesday night show. But that being said, Ultra Cowboy, running backs are not the athletes that wide receivers are. Come on, really? It's not as easy as taking a handoff, man.
Oh God, yeah.
I don't agree with that whatsoever.
Yeah. Well, and where I would say is the game you're playing now. Sure, you can't touch them, you can't hit them. The wide receivers don't even get they don't do nothing. Like, take the receivers back in the day.
Whew.
I mean, they got chucked, they got hit. You don't go across the middle, all that. That's a little bit different. I'd be a wide receiver all day if I had my choice, either that or cornerback.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's it was funny. I was thinking, because you're talking about the old days at the Panthers game the other night. Danny Boy, Marino, he was
Oh, I saw him hitting hitting the drum.
And it's just such a different game. And that's to your point. I mean, those shelf life back then, and they only had one like main guy at running back back in the day, and they took a beating. Wide receivers took a beating coming across the middle. It's flag football nowadays, right?
Yeah. No, it is. It's just, and the safety. We talk about player safety, and Eugene will talk about that. Yeah, I mean, Hurts. I don't know. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what he does next. This season coming up, not next year, but the season coming up. I mean, I'm not anticipating that he's going to be what he was last year. I think he's going to definitely come down. I don't think you can run the ball and sustain that. I think, but I think he's a good passer. He's not a great passer, but I think he's a good passer. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens to him. Jimmy has to defend that Bijan pick at number 8. It's funny. Is this the guy? This is the guy that was, and we'll play the tape. He was riding Bijan's jock for like I don't know how many months. Now all of a sudden he's got something to say. He
right.
I I
That's
thought he was doing
crazy.
favors or something.
Yeah, I thought, and remember, I'm not going to pretend to know anything about college football because I don't. But I was told by a lot of people,
Yeah.
including Ultra, "Oh, Bijan, that'll be a great pick." So, what are you talking about?
Yeah. And Mark, I use this all the time. He's 1000% right. If you're a Cowboys fan from that area, Emmett. Oh, Emmett's a line. We don't need anyone can run the ball. Didn't I just hear that? Anyone can run the ball. Well, Emmett wasn't there. Same offensive line, same quarterback, same receiver, same tight end, same everything, same defense, and they couldn't win a game without him. Started 0-2, and Derek Lassick, who I believe was the running back, did nothing. You know what I mean? So running backs, they a good good to great running back. There's no doubt they make a difference. So
No, they do, and
yeah,
like I said, we have 3 of them right now. I mean,
yeah,
two young ones, which I'm happy about.
yeah. And it sucks. I'm a running back fan, so I have a Dorsett, right? Emmett Smith, Herschel Walker. I had a Felix Jones jersey. I had the obviously Zeke. I don't know if I can get a running back jersey anymore because they're only going to stay around for a little while.
Hey, what
Barry
about?
Sanders, Barry Sanders was not the best running back in the 90s. He was the best runner. He was the best runner, but he was not the best running back. Emmett Smith was a better all-around running back. And when it came to a game that you had to win, Emmett Smith didn't lose yards. Barry Sanders lost a lot of yards. And he had a pretty good offensive line. A lot of people like to make excuses and say, "Oh, he didn't have the line Dallas did." Go look at his line. They had a good offensive line. I think they had a guy. I don't know if he's a Hall of Famer on there or not. Lomas Brown, I think, was on there. But he never even used his line anyway because he was like Gale Sayers. He was just a great runner of the football. But
Yeah.
he was. That's just my opinion. Jimmy could disagree, and you have the right to.
No, 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 no. I no, it's a tough call. I mean, again, a different
It's
era.
splitting hairs anyway.
Yeah, it's a different. What I want to, and it's a little bit off top, but can you believe Hopkins still isn't signed by anybody? DeAndre Hopkins?
Yeah, so that New England that was the one you keep hearing that a lot. New England. I don't know if that's a good fit for him. I mean, Mac Jones,
No.
I'm just not I don't know. You big on Mac Jones?
No,
Back?
no, not yet. Anyway,
I almost think he's better off taking. Give me a break. Oh God, I hate ignorance. It just drives me
Wow.
absolutely insane. It drives me absolutely insane. Go look up their offensive line. But anyway, I'm telling you what, I will put some money down that my man Ultra has to be an Eagle fan in disguise. He's Carl. Now I'm just saying, I know Carl got the ban, and sometimes Ultra defends Carl. So I don't know. I don't know if you guys agree with me or not because I've seen him on some other shows, I love him because he's funny. But one day he's going to come clean like the Midnight Rider. We knew who the Midnight Rider was. That was Dusty Rhodes. I don't know how anyone figured that out. I mean, it's very difficult.
That's
to figure
tough.
out, but yeah. So I think D Hop. I think D Hop's. He's maybe even to Mark's point. I don't think he's going to be the man. I don't think D Hop. I think D Hop would be best in a role like to be the complimentary guy. So let's say Buffalo. If you went to Buffalo and you got Diggs and then you get D Hop's a 2 guy. I think that's his better. I'm just throwing this out there. Even like in Atlanta where you got
We got money.
London.
Yes, we got money. I don't know why we haven't signed him yet.
No, you pair him up with a Drake London. He can mentor him. There's some similarity. I think you got a young quarterback. I think that's a good fit for him. But I don't know. I don't know what he's looking for. Is he looking to get paid? Is he looking for a ring? Is he looking for the best situation? I don't know what he wants. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, and and then that's the thing. What is he looking for? I mean, Dalvin Cook made it very clear. I'm looking for money. I'll take a 1-year deal on $5 million. I want the money, and that's fine. Good for him. And like we said, they got a short shelf life. Let him get paid. I don't blame him.
Yeah.
And now, granted, I don't think he's going to go and shit the bed, like purposely shit the bed. He's going to play hard.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I thought Cleveland, maybe a reunion in Cleveland with Watson.
I don't know.
Lions, that was an interesting one because you lost Williamson. Maybe lost a couple guys. That would be That would be it. That would be an interesting one. So you got Lions, the Bills.
Lions.
You know,
Uh,
I don't know if Cleveland. I don't know if Cleveland. I don't know. I don't know if Cleveland would be there, but the Lions are going to be interesting. They've got. I mean, they're on the Thursday night. I mean, when would you ever think this? Against the Chiefs, their opening NFL
Yeah.
season is going to be the Lions in the Chiefs. It's just not a game that you would think. But
Lions.
it's
Lions are on the rise, and so are the Browns when they go to these massage joints.
yeah, that's true. But I mean, but the worst thing that can happen to the Lions is they lay an egg on Thursday night and get blown out. I mean, that would be, yeah,
Well, it'll be an NFL's worst nightmare. It's like Uncle Cheech said, and you've said, you don't know what these teams are going to be like. I mean, I think the Falcons are going to be 9-8. And you know what? Hey, we can win 12 games. I don't know. Or we could suck. You
yeah.
just don't know what you're going to get. It's that second to third week where you really know, unless you're Minnesota, who's inconsistent, you know what you're going to get week to week. You're going to know about 3 games and where you're at.
Yeah, that's why it would have been. I mean, I thought the best game, which maybe it's good that they didn't do it. And I want to get to Fred's question, is the Eagles at Chiefs opening season. That would have been like the really.
Yes.
I mean, you want to talk about just bring it, hitting, but I think they want to save that one, But yeah, so for the right price, would you prefer Zeke or Dalvin Cook? I'll take the non-Cowboy. That way, there's no bias or anything like that. So for the right price, let's say you could afford either one of them. Which one would you take, Jimmy? Do you have a preference?
Zeke. I would take Zeke.
Take Zeke. Here's the funny thing: is you have a non-Cowboy fan that would take Zeke, and I'm a Cowboy fan. I think I would take Cook.
Well, but again, I'm on the outside looking in. I just think that there's familiarity there, and if you can sign him at a discounted rate, why not? Why wouldn't you? He was never a bad locker room guy.
No, well, that's the thing. Like that, the wild card, not the wild card, but the thing that would lead me to Zeke too. I mean, great teammate, great in the locker room, familiar with the guys. When I watched him play, I just felt so bad. I just don't know if his body is there, or was it, was there anything? I don't know. I mean, I really can't even blame the offensive line. It just didn't, or I mean, the offensive coordinator. It seems like, I don't know. It just wasn't breaking. It just wasn't breaking the tackles that I thought he could, and it's my concern. I know that Ultra's very comfortable in the with the running backs, and I'm comfortable with Pollard. I'm okay with Deuce as kind of like your little, like they did Sproles. I'm not sold on Jones. I'm just not. And I've watched him play. Obviously Kansas City last year, he was with the Bucks and da-da-da. I'm not really that sold on him. My worry is when you got to grind it out, when you've got to grind it out, who can do it on the team? And I just don't know there's a guy that can do it. And I think if you take Pollard and you make him that, and he ends up getting 20 plus carries a game, I just think if you're just going to run him into the ground like you did DeMarco Murray and say, all right, he'll be off the franchise tag and we'll dump him, then I guess, I mean, maybe that's what they're thinking. But to your point that you've said multiple times is it's a 17-game season. You need bodies. Now, if you believe in Malik Davis, maybe, but there's a lot of maybes, right? I don't know what Malik Davis is going to do. I've seen some stuff from him. Deuce Vaughn, I think he can bring some splash plays to the team. Pollard's going to be Pollard, but he's not a guy that I just don't think he's the workhorse. So Zeke could be that guy, or Dalvin Cook could be that guy to get some of the dirty yards that you're trying to grind out the game. That's my part of the game I'm worried about, is when you're up and you're trying to chew that clock and you need a guy to demoralize the defense. Do we have that on our team? I don't know. Maybe we do, maybe we don't.
It's just amazing that these guys are, Dalvin Cook was just recently, and Zeke's been, when did they release him? A month ago? More than that?
It was a while. It was right at the kind of like the start. I mean,
and that's the thing.
I don't think he's gotten any offer. I mean, maybe I'm not his agent, but I mean, it's just, I'm surprised. I mean, nothing. And the price goes down.
Right.
The longer this drags out for any free agents, the price goes down.
That's why I'm scratching my head about DeAndre Hopkins right now. I mean, this is how many weeks now? Two
Yeah.
weeks roughly, and he's not been signed. Like you said, that stack of cash is getting smaller and smaller
Yeah.
as each day that goes on.
Oh yeah, no, and and same with the Cowboys. They're gonna re-sign their guys, and they've got to get this. So it'll be interesting.
Fred's right. Yep.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm surprised in a way, but it's just I don't know what he's asking for, because you've seen some of these other running backs get picked up. So you got to think that he's asking maybe for more than what the market. The market for a running back that's how long Zeke been doing this? His his 7th year, 8th year, whatever.
Yeah.
That's a lot of wear and tear on a body, and then obviously high school and college, and they look at these guys, and it's a tough position to make a bunch of money. You watch it all, Jimmy?
You know what? I do, not as religiously as I watch Dynamite. So, and speaking of which, we're not going to get off on a wrestling tangent here, but Saturday is the Saturday Night Show, starting for AEW. It's going to be live every Saturday night on TBS. Yeah, it's like old school. Remember
like Saturday night's main event?
Yeah. Well, that or
do they have good? If they have good story, maybe I got to give them a shot. Give them
well, there was that, and then remember WCW had on Turner every Saturday at 6:00. That was their time slot. So for Pollard 15 to 20, Malik 10 to.
Yeah, and the thing is, and I'll trust here's the thing. I'm going to trust the coaches that they know obviously more than I know. So once the season starts, whoever the running backs are, we're in. And I'm just saying, as an outsider, all right, Pollard, I 20 carries a game, 15, I feel good. And then because he's going to catch the ball too. I mean, let's say he gets 3 or 4 catches, that's 18 touches. You get around that 18 to 20 touches, let's just say. And Malik Davis, I just don't know. That's the thing. I just don't know. And if you're wrong, a la Amari Cooper, really, they bet that they didn't need Cooper, and they just let him go. And they figured out we can throw a receiver in there, and to Ultra's delight, Jalen Tolbert, proved not to live up to that at that point. So they put themselves in a bad spot. I don't want to see that happen at running back when you've got some money, you've got some pieces. I just want to make sure we're sure, and if we are, then great, man. Like I said, I'm not telling them to sign anybody. I'm not saying, I'm not pounding the table saying they're not going to win the Super Bowl if they don't get a running back. I think we've got capable people. It's unproven. I guess that's the way I could say it. It's just you just don't know.
It's a fear of the unknown, man.
Yeah.
That's the thing. We had nothing to lose when we drafted Bijan Robinson.
Yeah.
For us, we weren't cutting anybody or releasing anybody. We got, like I said, we got three guys right now. So that's not a problem for me.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Right? No, absolutely. And Pollard hadn't carried the ball more than like 15 times ever. I think he might have done it in the NFL once. I think they finally talked about it. But a running back 20 to 25 times a game. Like I said, if you're going to dump him after this year, have at it. If that's the end game that they're going to do, they just want to do a DeMarco Murray and start over, then that's just the way it is. He gets his money and he'll move on. But 17 games, 3 games to get to the Super Bowl. That's 20 games. Guy getting the ball 20 times, let's say he gets it 20 times a game. That's 400, right? If my Broward education is good, that's 400 carries.
Pretty close, yeah. 400, and then how many? Like you said, 3-4 catches a game. So there's
let's say
60 more, 80 more touches.
Yeah, 450, 460. That's a lot of touches for one guy to have. That's so, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. So
exactly.
Man, Jimmy, we're an hour and 20 in. We're kicking it. My Miami Heat are coming on in 12 minutes. So
yes.
We gotta get things rolling and either put the end of the misery. I'm not wearing you notice, no Heat hat, because Mark jinxed me. He sent me some hat. He put some pixie dot. I don't know what he put on it. Put some sort of curse on it. So I've got that hidden. I'll bring it out after the season so I can wear it, because it is a beautiful hat. But not wearing my Heat shirt. I'm going old school and just staying neutral to see if I can bring some vibes back, and then we'll see if Miami can live to fight another day.
Yeah, and you know what? Like we said, the game's starting soon, so we're probably going to wrap it up soon. But tailing off of last week,
Don't wear Jared Pollard. Didn't he break his leg? He's got a little wear. He got a little wear.
So, and I can't find the comment. Oh yeah, Double Star. Yeah, we were talking about that a week or two about the Macho Man documentary. It was a home run. All those documentaries are good.
Oh, they're the best. No,
Yeah.
now Mark, I wear the hat all the time. I'm saying I can't wear it tonight because I've worn it twice during the game ever since I got it. And we're at home, which we should, right? You should win that game, and we didn't. So I'm not wearing the hat, just out of superstition. See if I can break the curse. If they lose, I'll be wearing it. I'll be bringing it to Dallas when I see it too. So don't worry about that.
You know what? And it's funny because I used to get all superstitious back in the. I don't know. I kind of broke that habit, right? You know, it's just sitting in the same spot all the time.
Oh, yeah, I'm still the same.
I can't. I broke that a few years ago.
Yeah.
I just I couldn't deal with it. I was going nuts.
No, I'm still. But hey, we got. I always forget to say it, but you guys that are left hanging with us, make sure if you haven't, hit that little like button, hit that share, whatever you guys can do. Hopefully, you guys are already subscribers. I don't want to tell you to subscribe. If you haven't subscribed already, you do slap you around.
Exactly.
I say it. But go ahead, Jimmy.
Hey, no, so last week we actually talked about wrestling quite a bit. But it's crazy. We were talking about Hussein Khosrow Al-Waziri, the Iron Sheik, rest in peace. He died 2 days later after we were talking about him.
Yeah.
And he obviously lived a hard life at times, and just a hell of an entertainer. And rest in peace.
Yeah, and I tell you, you rest in peace. And you know that thing that the ear cleaner that you put in and it kind of cleans your ear. You ever see that thing?
Yeah.
I need Ultra. I'm gonna send it to Ultra because I think he needs that. Wasn't I the one that said I would take Dalvin Cook over Zeke out of the two?
Yes.
Am I okay?
No, I think you said that. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Fairly certain you said it.
I'm pretty sure I did. Pretty sure And didn't I say he's kind of, his body doesn't seem like it's broken down, and this and that. I mean, God. I mean, sometimes I'm telling you, it's effing Carl. That's Carl. You'll never tell me it's not. Unless I meet him face to face, even then I might think he's Carl.
You know what it is? His mind has betrayed him. You figured it out. It is Carl.
Oh, it's gotta be. Who the hell's Carl? No, I'm just kidding. But yeah. So anyway, it's So we'll get rolling. It's been a lot of fun. This is a great time, man.
Great.
And again, I apologize. Got in a little scattered. I had a great, hour-long conversation with Eugene Lockhart, Dallas Cowboy linebacker, all-pro. Still, I believe an NFL record, 222 tackles in a season. If not, I don't know who the hell broke it. But he's going to be on live on Wednesday, special Wednesday edition, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Dallas time. And then, of course, I think Kelly's back from vacation. We'll have to find out. I saw the pictures. It looks like he had a great time. I know he hung out with Fred. And, his barbecue, I was very jealous. I was like, Jimmy, where's our, do we get a plane ticket so we can go? So, yeah, definitely got to figure out a way to get down to San Antonio so I can enjoy some of that. But it's a lot of fun. So we got our Thursday show and whatever else. What else am I missing, Jimmy?
No, I think we're good, man. Looking forward to the game tonight. We got the game tomorrow. We got Eugene Lockhart Wednesday. It's going to be a good week. And AEW Dynamite.
It's going to be a good week.
Yes.
And Jimmy, keep your eye open. You might have to bring in. You have to sneak in and kind of cut the cord if things get out of hand on Wednesday. Make sure you got to save the show. We've been building the show. We don't want anything to happen. So. Anyway, you guys have a great one. Let's go Heat. Let's do it for pride. Let's see. That's all we got left. Show a little pride, right, Jimmy?
That's right.
All right. I'll see you guys.
Pride.
All right. See you guys next week. Take care. I'll see you Wednesday, Jimmy, next week.
Eagles getting ready, because you might not like it, but you will learn to love it because we are the best thing going today. Now, can you dig it?